I'm going to go ahead and ask that the list, Mr. Massey, could you get the list? Thank you. And our first speaker this evening is Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I had a question to address this evening. I'm hoping to make this into something constructive, or at least suggestive. I believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, are we in a lawsuit with the owner of Rosa's Diner currently over decisions that we made with the meth clinic from last year? If we're not, I shouldn't be up here, but I'm asking, as a citizen, looking for some transparency.
Yeah,
Okay.
The last that I heard, there was a lawsuit that was filed, but hadn't been officially served on the county. Although in my mailbox, it looked like it had been served, and the date stamped on it was February 8th, is that correct? So I'm really confused about that. Why we were told it hadn't been officially served, but today's the 19th, and it was date stamped February 8th. So really,
yeah, I don't know. I'm asking. I've heard.
Well, I'm just giving you the information I know at this point.
Al, do you know if it's been served properly or not?
I can't respond to that, but I can say that Legit, our insurance company, is handling that matter.
How much of that are we allowed to talk about?
That's about all I can say.
That's called transparency, right?
Well,
I mean, let's face it, Al. I'm a taxpaying citizen in the county. I'm curious as to where my money's going and that wise decisions are made. And I didn't come up here to criticize anybody over this. What I was hoping was that somehow the lawsuit could be avoided. Usually when there's a lawsuit involved, somebody's looking for money. And I was just wondering, just to take this under consideration, maybe it'd be cheaper just to buy this piece of property from this guy as part of the settlement. I don't know if it's even possible. I say this because I'd rather, if you were gonna spend $500,000, I'd rather walk away with some kind of real property rather than just a decision by a lawyer or a couple of lawyers.
We've just come from a lawsuit where we spent $500,000, and I agree with that. But we need to be very careful about going into litigation. I can say that the Flint ordinance that I helped draft was a lot more ironclad than what was proposed by our Director of Planning and Zoning. And I did the research as to what issues we were allowed to address. And it was parking, adequate parking, and buffer yards. And my pursuit of this clinic ordinance was before they had sought to get an occupancy for this property. But that's where we're at now.
Okay. Since you brought that up, did everybody have a chance to read the information that was relayed from Al Reason, from an attorney down in Baltimore County, in reference to this? I see Commissioner Councilman Hodge nodding.
Yeah, he had submitted this while we were doing our discussions on the planning ordinance. Okay. And I did read it, and I personally felt that at the time that we were considering the clinic ordinance, that we had other options other than the one that we took.
Okay.
Well, I can say that the clinic ordinance that was adopted was very similar to the one that was proposed for Elkton.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. One other thing, and I forget where I read this, but I was reading up on animal control. And I thought I read it on the internet that they had a facility for, if people were looking for cats, they could come visit the facility and get a cat. But if they wanted a dog, they had to call for an appointment. Can anybody here verify that? You need an appointment to go look at a dog in order to adopt it. I thought I read that about a week ago.
Well, I think the problem is that currently, the current animal control provider has very limited space for dogs. And I think that they have farmed out, their space for dogs at various locations. So that you can't go to one central location today to inspect all the dogs that they have available. So, but I do believe that they are adopting out pets. And, you need to call them and make arrangements. And until they come up with a permanent, final, facility, they're gonna be making do with what they have.
Yeah. I feel at this point, we kind of took a step backward. I'm hoping in the future we're stepping forward, but right now we've stepped backward. There was a time when you could go to the SPCA with your kids and look for a dog or a cat, go home with one. Right now you have to make an appointment. No, I couldn't even find a location that was given. I think for the cat, something on Appleton Road was listed. But at this point, I think it was a step backward, and we're spending more money to do it. What I'm hoping is that this evolves into something a lot better than what it is today.
Well, Mr. Lovis, I think you bring up a good point that we need an update from the current animal control vendor.
I would like
And
that.
I think it's time that we invite them in and
I
see
think
how things are going.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. McCarthy.
No, I was going to address Mrs. Councilman Brumel, but never mind.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Roger Lamb?
Hi, thank you, council members, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Roger Lamb. I live on Stevens Road in Rising Sun. And I've lived in county for 25 years. I've seen a lot of good changes in the county, although I've seen some changes that should have made long ago, just have never happened. I realize that county has made some advancements, but we've all seen some circles of people that have stood in the way of county progress. Sometimes it seems like these people are looking out for themselves. But over the years here, one of the first things I like to talk about is roadside garbage. And it seems like it's really becoming a big problem in the county. I see it up and down my road. We used to have a fellow that collected garbage on our street, passed away a few years ago, but I don't know if he could handle the amount of trash that's being thrown on that road now. But anyway, I don't know if this is part of the problem. You know, it costs $4 to go to the dump. Not that I'm complaining about it, but some people do. And I think today's society lives on fast food, bottled water. We need stronger codes on these establishments because they sell this, you know, this kind of stuff, and you know, the containers that it comes in. We need stronger codes on these establishments to help reduce roadside trash because they sell it, and other people that buy it, they throw it out their car windows, and there needs to be some kind of enforcement. I'd like to add that maybe we could have some incentives for, like, say, additional trash cans or accessible trash cans. I mean, there was this, you know, even in Rising Sun, there was a time when the trash cans at the local gas station were overflowing, stuff was blowing all over the place. There should be some kind of ordinances for that. But you know, I think that maybe some signage, you know, could help, you know, give a hoot and don't pollute Cecil or pick up your rubbish. You know, that kind of stuff helps. If it's a moral problem, and I almost think that it should be something that's taught, you know, starting in kindergarten. But those ideas cost money, and we need to improve how Cecil County looks first. I see we're spending money on economic development consultants. That seems it's brought Cecil a lot of adverse development instead of attractive investments. I believe our tax money is better spent on trash control rather than waiving fees for Section 8 housing in places where the jobs are few. Another waste is, to me, Cecil's proliferation of these drug treatment centers. They seem to be financing failure to me. And I see money's wasted adding government bureaucracy. Now, you know, we've hired a council manager. You know, oddly, I read on the Cecil Times, the new council manager, you know, has been cited from a previous job for manipulating voter lists, and I see nothing about this in our local paper. So I ask, know, what's the need for this position? And, was the person properly vetted? Were there any local candidates? And what did, the previous employer say, you know, was the reason for termination? I mean, those are things that I read in the Cecil Times. I think they're a concern. This gives an appearance of a questionable hire for the county, which parallels Rising Sun Town Hall, where Mayor Fisher is now locked out of Town Hall after Rising Sun Charter got changed without any public notice. And the appointed town administrator, who is not a town resident, who also has a questionable past, gets to make all Rising Sun decisions and announcements under advisement from an attorney whose office is 85 miles away. I don't think that's local determination. These are examples that Cecil County needs some stronger ethics laws. Cecil County's tier map is another reason. My local section of the tier map was formed by the Rising Sun Town Hall, who appointed a committee that didn't bother to ask landowners what they wanted. I know I don't want my land annexed into town limits, but Cecil's tier map shows my land is in a priority area. The farmer across my street told me he will never develop his land. He loves to farm. Some of his land is swampy, but it's all listed as tier 2. And I understand he won't bother wasting his time coming here to fight it either. We all know several local developers and Cecil's administration won't bother to follow their ethics codes because there's no real penalties. So I gotta agree with what I see about the Maryland Department of Planning, that Cecil County must resubmit new tier maps to include priority preservation and rural legacy areas. These current tier maps appear that Cecil will allow developers to build and subdivide anywhere. And you're gonna destroy Cecil County if this is, you know, what happens. And I even believe that our comprehensive plans, you know, are, you know, having the same issues. So in conclusion, I ask Cecil County to get tough on ethics. I see a lot of county officials that shouldn't even make it to the ballot, and you know, I see others that, you know, have no place running some of our community and service organizations. So I'd like to start by, you know, making stronger laws on roadside trash, development standards, reforming our ethics, so we can see the benefits of investors who really do care about Cecil County more than ripping off the taxpayers. Thanks.
Mr. Lamb, I want to thank you for coming out. I think this is the first time that you've attended a Citizens Corner.
Maybe third time.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say something about the trash, the litter along the roads. There was a lady that, Kim Selman, she was in the Cecil WIG. Oh, she's with us this evening. And I had mentioned you this morning, and I always appreciate when the community gets involved. And I would support her effort, get as many people to, you know, go to her blog site. I think it was, hold on, I have it right here, ceciltrashblog.blogsite.com. I know that she's looking at ways to get communities involved in helping to address the trash problem. The Adopt a Road program, she's looking into, and I'm gonna put a phone call into the Sheriff's Department to find out if he still has, the prisoners, picking up trash. I think he said he didn't have enough money to continue that program, but we need to look at that.
Yeah, I just don't think that's enough. You know, prisoners can't patrol all the roads in this county.
They were mainly going down Route 2, it wasn't the side
Yeah,
roads.
I mean, that's not where the trash is. Well, it is, but it isn't.
And I have to, address the stronger ethics law. Very proud with the strides that our ethics committee has made. They have had stronger laws. Whether or not it's been effective in the education piece that they've been trying to promote is that the public has to be involved in this whole ethics process. They're the ones that have to be observant when there's a conflict of interest and file a complaint. So I think there's an education piece that's missing to make it even more efficient. The tier maps, personally, I agree with your perspective that priority preservation areas and rural conservation districts should be included. Was encouraged by an email that Ms. Moore recently put out that she submitted the administrative map because of a timeline.
Yeah, I
That
can see
she always
that's
intended to
good.
go back and incorporate the other departments, so we'll wait and see for that. I don't have the other things down that you had mentioned.
I was questioning, the hiring of,
On that issue, I've been told I am not allowed to speak, so.
I mean, I don't have anything against, anybody in particular, but, I see this another level of bureaucracy, and bureaucracy costs money.
I'll speak to the council manager position. All of the council members are part-time members, paid part-time, and we all unanimously agreed that we needed a council manager. All 5 members realized that we need some help to run the legislative branch of government. And we needed someone that had experience with charter government and worked with councils in the past.
I read it in the paper.
And we had an interview process, and we came to a conclusion on what we felt was the best qualified candidate for the position. And we believe, and I still strongly believe, that we need someone to take care of county business when we, the council members, are not here working 24/7 on the job. And so there's no doubt in my mind that we all agree that we need some help getting the job done. There may be a disagreement on the person to do that job, but I think the majority of the council members spoke, and we made a decision, and we're moving on with that. The job of running what I think is $250 million enterprise of Cecil County government is a big job, and it takes more than 5 council members and a county executive to do that job. It takes some support to support the council and the executive. And so I think it will be money well spent. I'm not a big fan of growing government. There may be other positions in our budget that we may need to cut or not fill. But as far as the council manager, I think it's critical to our success of serving the needs of the public.
I respect your opinion, I just, wanted to voice my discourse over it, and, I hope you take it into consideration, before, the government gets any bigger than it is.
And I'm gonna do my very best to not grow government.
If I might, are you done, Mr. Hodge?
Sure.
Concerning the trash, I spoke to the sheriff today in Cecil County, and he said that he's understaffed right now, but plans to have some pickup patrols on the scene here in the next few months. As for myself, I own a number of properties, and I could pick up the trash too. It's not something I enjoy doing, but there isn't a day that goes by I don't pick up something.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of people, and I would suggest that the parents train their children not to do such.
Yeah, it's a moral problem, but I think that, maybe there should be a program in school, that should address this.
Well, schools can't do everything as I see it. A lot of this stuff is up to the parents. I mean, I speak to people who have children with drugs, and almost uniformly, they tell me that many of the issues are not corrected at the home. The teachers can't do it. There's just not enough time.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to say it, but I think we're seeing a decay and a collapse of our society to some degree.
I like to focus on what we can do, and getting back to the positive, Kim.
Well, would you
in
like to tell me what
organizing-
to say?
Well, I would just say, organizing.
Well, I'm sorry that I've interrupted.
Keep it positive, I say.
If I could just say one thing, I feel very passionate about looking at our roads and seeing all the trash that's out there. It's really a coincidence that yesterday I was driving down Nottingham Road with my husband, and I said, this place is a mess. And what it is. And you see it this time of year.
Yeah.
Grass covers it other times of the year. But I really think that, and I talked about it just briefly today at the work session, that maybe we need to have an advertising push of some kind in the schools and in the newspapers to convince parents that it's their responsibility to teach their kids that it's not okay to throw the McDonald's wrapper out the window.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't have anything to do with the businesses. It's got to do with the people that use the products and then don't dispose of them properly.
Plenty of businesses don't like to empty their trash cans and let them overflow. I've seen it
Yeah.
at McDonald's and Rising Sun.
I
would-
That we can do something about.
That we can definitely, if there's a business that has a trash problem, that can be managed by calling the health department. The health department will definitely go out, investigate, and cite businesses or even property owners that accumulate trash. If it's gonna harbor vermins and rats and mice and other undesirable animals and birds and so forth and so on, that is a violation of the law. And therefore, that can be managed and handled. All the health department needs to know is it has to be reported to them. So if you see overflowing trash containers, bins, or what have you, you need to report that to the health department directly, or you can certainly contact council members, or you can call the county executive's office, and that'll be taken care of.
That would be something good to add into an ad campaign as well, you know, if you're gonna do something like that to promote the pickup of rubbish like that.
I doubt that we'll ever get to the ad
Yeah.
campaign because money's such an issue.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we can't have it both ways, unfortunately. We can't not spend money, but yet have the niceties of an ad campaign.
No, I wanted to get it out there, so it was, more
I'm with you
public
100% on
concern.
the trash, trust me, because it's a shame. Cecil County's a beautiful county.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this is a new problem that
No.
a region has experienced, and someone's figured it out. There's been, solutions applied to the problem that, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We might just need to
Yeah.
research what are some things that we can do at low cost, and it might even bring communities together.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Catherine Shelton?
Oh, I'm not speaking. I'm interested in this, matter.
The tier map, well, you have an opportunity to speak your mind.
Twice.
Okay, for this tier map.
Can you speak into the microphone because it's recorded and other people will listen to it at a later date?
For this tier map, I can't even find my property the way it looks here.
Yeah, there's a
Where
bigger
in
one,
the world am I?
yeah. Where's the bigger, is it, planning and zoning department map?
Where do you live?
I'm on Old Forest Road, but I own property on 213. I think it's probably called Knight's Corner Road, 213, and then make a right on Forest. I own 84 acres there. And it seems as though 3/4 of Cecil County is in Tier 4.
No, that map you have is not the accurate map.
That's
Why?
tier four, the one that was submitted. So you're talking
This is the one that's been submitted?
No,
This is.
that is not submitted. Not submitted. That is not the
And I
accurate.
have a letter that says my property is in the Tier 4 map.
Okay, that was in the summertime, that you were originally in the tier 4, and I'm not saying you're not today, but that map you have is a map that was under consideration earlier in the year, or in 2012, and was rejected for a different map. So that map was,
We have a different map.
yes, yes. And it'll be presented tonight, there'll be a map presented tonight, and, I assume that Eric is gonna bring the map that was presented. So, the map that was submitted to the Maryland Department of Planning is significantly different than that map.
Ms. Shelton, you might wanna keep in the conversation now. This evening, I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna feel differently about the map that was submitted. And some would like to, keep all of that area in Tier 4. Others that would like to see, priority preservation areas and rural legacy areas put back in, maybe keep Tier 3. There's many different issues that happen because of SB 236, the Sustainable Growth and Ag Preservation Act. And it we're concerned because it usurped our local planning authority and our comprehensive plan process. I've been down to Annapolis testifying on House Bill 106 and Senate Bill 391. There's devil's in the details. You want to stick around if you've got property that you're concerned about.
There will be staff members here from the Planning and Zoning Office that can help you locate your property on that map or the map that's been submitted.
Okay, and you will have copies of the map that you will be using tonight.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Donna Cadell.
Good evening. I just wanted to make a note to the woman here. I believe map 10 that was submitted to the state includes land that was previously placed for preservation and government-owned land, correct? Okay. All right, my question is, I missed the morning meeting, but I was looking online, and I would like to get some information, if I can, about this Bay Cabinet, and if we've scheduled a meeting. If so, when and what for, if you can tell me a little bit about it. And will the issue of what comes down the Susquehanna River from New York and Pennsylvania be addressed, and funding for cleanup at the dam?
Well, that's the big question, and the one that we keep bringing forth back to the state. If the Sustainable Growth and Ag Preservation Act really was for cleaning the bay, then why aren't they addressing the biggest source of pollution to the bay, the Susquehanna River and the Conowingo Dam? And the FERC relicensing is taking place right now. It goes on, if they get relicensed, they'll be good for, I think, another 40 years. And where they're close to capacity and collecting behind the dam. It's one of the most effective means for collecting sediment. So, how long has it been? Close to 100 years. It's been in operation and it's near capacity. And I was also down at the what was it, Pierce Creek meeting. It was a community meeting with Bayview and Westview Shores. The Maryland Port Authority and the Army Corps of Engineers were trying to talk these two communities into allowing them to do dredging and dumping the spoils at the Pierce Creek dredge site. There's one standard for the county, and in imposing ungodly costs on us, and when it's fiscally expedient for them, they have a different standard. So the Bay Cabinet, there is a letter that's went out to requesting this meeting. It was offered to us from the governor. Keep the lines of communication open. When we were down at in Annapolis with Maggie McIntosh, she's the chairwoman for the environmental committee, and she agreed with us on the Conowingo Dam issue. So the more opportunity in speaking with the state and trying, just to get them to keep the conversation going, it's an opportunity. Sometimes it seems fruitless, but that's all we have right now. We're also looking into coordination, which is, it's a political process to where local jurisdictions have a say in what is imposed on them from the state and federal government. So that's another avenue. But it's the meeting with the Bay Cabinet is basically to try and keep the conversation going and addressing the issues and trying to base this whole process on science and not, right now, to me, it's faulty science of what they're basing on.
The meeting has not been scheduled. The Bay Cabinet and the governor have offered to visit with the county government, the executive and the council, to discuss and have a dialogue about what the state wants to do. And we are taking them up on that offer. We would like the Bay Cabinet to come to Cecil County. We'd like the council and the executive and the citizens to be available to hear what they have to say, to educate us, to open up the lines of communication and have a dialogue, including the citizens where they can listen in and hopefully ask some questions also. This is my vision of the meeting. Now that won't, I'm not saying that they'll pick us up on exactly what I would like to see happen, But they have offered to us many times over many different venues to visit with us, and we're gonna take them up on that. And we hope to just open up the dialogue, and the dam settlement would be one of the issues. I would certainly like to know more about how the septic impact is such a critical element of their strategy. And there's lots of other things that we need to have a more confident understanding of what's going on so that we can participate and support their effort.
Okay, and you'll let the public know, this will be up on the website?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but again, we discussed it this morning. We basically accepted their invitation, and we're taking them up on it. We haven't even drafted the letter yet. I mean, I think it's gonna be sent out tomorrow probably, so it'll be out into the future a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Donna was the last person on our list. I was going to invite Ms. Salmon up real quick if she wanted to share with her progress to date.
Hey, my name is Kim Salmon, and I've lived in Cecil County for more than 20 years. I live in Frenchtown Road, just on the edge of between Prairieville and the county. And I've been jogging up and down Frenchtown Road for about 20 years. And in the last year or so, I think I've spoken to you, Council President, about this. There's been a dramatic increase in the amount of trash alongside the road. It's awful. I mean, just yesterday I noticed 3 truck tires, an entire bag of household garbage that somebody dumped. And I've been starting to jog with a little backpack and pick up the trash as I go along, and it's just, I can't keep up with it. I can't put an entire toilet in my backpack. This has been extremely disturbing to me, so I've been doing a lot of research. And just yesterday, there was an article in the New York Times that said that things like trash in a neighborhood reduce the value of property by 5 to 10%. 5 to 10%. If we fix the trash problem, we can raise property values. This helps your citizens, your voters. It also helps you. It raises the amount of tax revenue that you'll receive because you get higher property values, means higher property taxes. So by cutting back on things like street cleanup, you are not saving money. You are costing me money as a property owner, and you're costing the county money in terms of reducing revenue. Secondly, research by all kinds of crime researchers find that when you have a trashy area, it contributes to a sense of lawlessness. It's called the broken window syndrome. And if we show that we don't care about our community and we have trash, it actually contributes to an environment of higher crime. So for financial reasons, for economic reasons, for tourism reasons, and for crime reasons, we should be addressing this. And nothing is happening. You've cut back on the sheriff says he can't afford to send the prisoners out, and we're not enforcing anti-limiting laws. Other communities put up trash cans in certain locations that have become dumps. Why not actually a few enforcement, a few people who actually got jailed for this, I think would send a huge message and would really cut down on the problem. So those are my views.
Yeah, I would be interested to see the effect of littering, no littering signs, and especially if there's enforcement, and how effective is the enforcement.
Right.
I know that Sheriff Janney, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but he's not here.
No,
so
it's not
I'm going
me.
to get away with it for a little while, but that seems to be a lot of times what he has to say is he needs more money.
Right.
And I'm always looking for ways that we can bring the community in and take ownership.
Right.
And sure, I can see where sometimes we do need to put more money into it, but throwing money at the problems a lot of times isn't the solution.
Well, what we're doing now is definitely not working.
Well,
so.
what you were saying though about how have we had a program where we were picking up trash other than the sheriff's department? No, I didn't think so.
But we've even eliminated that, so we're doing less than we used to.
I think he said he cut back, and I'm also wondering how much the tipping rate or the fees at the landfill have affected this as well, if there's an increase. So.
Well, my concern is that we're reaching a tipping point because there's a lot of research that if people see a little trash, they're more likely to throw trash. So if we have one big countywide cleanup, we'll start fresh, and I mean, I don't think we can solve the problem until we clean up the county.
I think that's a great idea. The Susquehanna, or the Lower Susquehanna Heritage Greenway has a river sweep.
Right, I participate, I mean, I
Yes,
contribute.
And that might be a great idea for Cecil County
Right.
sweep.
But also, you mentioned properties that collect trash. I circulated a petition in my area, and a lot of people complained that, especially empty spaces and abandoned buildings, foreclosed properties have become trash magnets. And in the town of Perryville, for example, they require absentee landowners to maintain their properties. There might be something the county can do if we see a property that becomes, as you mentioned, a trash magnet. Either what Perryville does is they mow the lawn for that person and then build them. And so maybe if people can identify properties that are a problem, the county could clean them up and then build the homeowner. I mean, that might be one revenue neutral way to address serious problems.
Mr. Reason, I think, thank you, Ms. L. We have time for one more question, and Mr. DeFreitas, sorry, had his hand up first, just to be fair.
Three just really quick things. As you start to work with Buddies for Life, if you could put us in touch with whoever Buddies for Life might give us the pictures and small captions for the dogs that they get. We would like to continue the section on adoptions and do both associations in the county for finding the dogs. I think it's very important, being a dog person myself, that people be able to find their dogs. But if you just can give us the information too.
Mr. DeFreitas, if you would have read the WIG, they had a full article on it with all the phone numbers and information. Since you don't read the WIG, I'll be happy to supply it to you.
That's great. The second thing that I would like to touche. The second thing that I would like to request, but again, a county decision, that in the rotation of the agenda, that the public comments in the public meeting be put after the president and council comment. Again, just because of responses to possibly what the council might say. And that's just a suggestion. The third thing is, I'm very, very interested when President Mullen was still on the commissioners, we were talking about the sewer plan and revising the 2007 sewer plan. And he had said that within 60 days or so, we'd hear something about what direction the sewer plan and what was going to happen. And that never did transpire.
I think what he was talking about is the master water and sewage plan.
Correct.
And there was an initiative to make some changes, and then that all got dropped. How can you tell us where that stands today?
Yeah, staff is currently working on that, and that'll be moving forward. I'm not sure what the timeline is on that, but it is moving.
Well, do you think it's a month or 50 days?
I'll double check with Eric.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, it's 6 months at least now, so that's the only thing. Thank you.
Mr. Reason, I think we could hear real
We
quick.
have 5 minutes or less.
Oh, it's gonna be less. Al Reason, Conowingo. I just wanna bring up a couple things people were discussing. Back in October, it was brought up that if we took the sediment out behind Conowingo Dam, there was a good chance it could be used as aggregate. And I've talked to people about why isn't the Army Corps of Engineers considering the same thing? If the sediment behind the dam can be used as aggregate, why not the spoils that they're taking out? And I had a concern about it being heavy metals, et cetera, and I was assured that that was not a problem. The other thing is, some months ago, Mr. Flanagan brought up that if you saw somebody throwing trash, if you could ascertain by trash existing, envelopes, et cetera, bills, he had a person in his office that you could call and they would see what they could do about it. Okay, thank you.
What would you suggest, Mr.?
We have 3.5 minutes if someone has another question, it can be answered in 3.5 minutes.
Is there a citizen that would like to ask a question? Mr. Pete, I don't know.
Big Daddy walks up, you better get ready. The first thing is, Berry employees are out working. I saw them twice last week.
There you go.
They're out, and they were on Route 40.
Now, that's the state, the state highways
Now,
use
Berry's people.
Route 40.
What were they wearing, Pete?
They had, well, it had the sign up prisoners, so maybe they were state.
No, they were state prisoners out of Jessup, believe it or not. The state has been actively picking up trash on state highways. Where we're having our biggest issues are on county roads. And the state doesn't pick up county roads. We're responsible for the county roads. But I have seen the state crew, or the state work release gentlemen, up and down Route 40 and a couple other state highways.
You mean the Governor O'Malley is really spending some money in Cecil County?
Yes.
Wow.
He doesn't.
Anyhow, thank you.
Okay, I think we're going to close off citizens' comments.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to reconvene at 7 o'clock with our legislative meeting.